So, when you're trying anything new at your salon, whether you're trying a new promotion or you've just built a new website, you've just launched online booking, or you've started a social media channel, one of the most important things is to actually track the success of it. Is it performing how you want it to? Understanding how you can see if it is successful is a really important part because if you can't see that, then you don't know if it's a good use of your time. Today we're here with Kirsten McHarg from Savvy Seller Marketing, and she's going to talk to us all about Instagram and the way that you can see how successful your posts are, and therefore you can see how much it helps your business. So, Kirsten, first of all, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, could you just talk to us a little bit about Instagram analytics and why it's
Yeah.
not so scary and everything about it?
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. Huge topic again that we're trying to condense into a very short period of time. But I personally love analytics and I love data. But I know that it can be a scary topic for people and also quite dry, quite dull, and quite boring. But I
Yeah.
think once you kind of get into it and fossick around and have a look at analytics and see how they relate to the posts and the stories and the things that you're doing on social, you might start to get a little bit excited. But the essence of analytics really, it's not so much, oh, I got this many likes, I got this many shares. It's not in isolation. You kind of need to look at the different analytics that are available in the Instagram app, and I'll show you that in a minute, and try and piece together a story about what the analytics or the insights are telling you. So it might be that, and this happens quite a lot, is that you put out a post, you think this is an incredible post, it's amazing, everybody's going to love it, and then it tanks and it just goes
Mm.
nowhere. It gets no reach, no engagement, no nothing. And you're like, oh, okay, social media doesn't work, or I'm bad at my social media. That's actually not true. You may also then put a post out that you think's a bit, but it just goes, viral. Well, not really, but
Yeah.
it's really, really popular. And you think, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. There's a story in there, or there are insights and things that your audience, your clients, and your potential clients are telling you what they want, what they find interesting. Not quite so black and white because it's, when did it land on their feed? Did it land on their feeds? There's a lot of variables, and there's the good old algorithm that's basically Big Brother at play for your social media feed. So you've got to kind of try and contend with that as well. But that's why you have the analytics and the insights that are quite good to have a look at. And when you start to pay a bit more attention and make a few adjustments, then you can actually use your time more wisely, as you said, and come to learn that it's not you being good or bad at your social media. It's you understanding your clients and your potential clients in the area where your salon is and what they want. So, I mean, there are a lot of obvious things in terms of, and I'm just going to deviate for a minute in terms of what they want. And it could be like they want to see a salon, they want to see before and afters, they want testimonials, they want educational tips, they want beautiful photos of products, they want you talking. There's all sorts of stuff, right? So we know from our experience that clients and potential clients anywhere in the world want that stuff. But then they also want stuff that makes them feel like they're part of your salon. So it's behind the scenes and kind of all fun stuff as well. So I guess the starting point is always going to be your content plan and what you're going to talk about and when you're going to post and is it going to be video and all that stuff. So let's just assume that that's all done and you're rolling out your content plan. Because obviously, if you just do one post in isolation, probably no one will see it. You've got to be consistent and you've got to feed your social media feed with, content. And then you will start to see the trends and the patterns and the things of what people like and don't like. Um, so that's all there. So once you've got that all underway and that's all happening, um, Instagram in the app itself starts to bring together the information for you. So it's actually quite handy. And if you go into your app um, and you go into the Instagram app itself, and then you're kind of presented with your homepage, and obviously you have to have a business account for this. You've got what's called a professional dashboard. And of course, they change this around every 5 minutes, and I opened it up this morning and saw that they changed everything around. So I'm just going to read from top to bottom. But basically, what it says is it shows you how many accounts you reached. So you can set a time period. So let's say for the last 30 days, you want to just generally see how your social media has been going. And it can tell, I'm looking at mine, and it says that in the last 30 days, between August the 13th and September the 11th, we've reached 731 accounts. So that's 731 Instagram accounts. So let's assume they're people. It then tells you that 628 of them are followers already. So that's really cool. But 103 of them are non-followers. And I know that those non-followers are in my target market because I know I've been doing engagement and certain things like that. So the story for me, or for you, if you're looking at yours, is if you've been doing a particular activity, that tells you that that's either been successful or it hasn't been successful. If it hasn't, in your mind, then obviously stop doing that, or test it for longer. So some of the key metrics, though, to look at are obviously engagement. So engagement is, are people liking and sharing and chatting and things like that? And generally, we find they don't. They're just, these days, there's just so much on people's feeds that they will stop the scroll, as it were, and look and read, but they may not necessarily like. And it just seems to be a thing in this industry that we've discovered that they are within themselves going, oh, it's really cool. And the algorithm will notice that they stop the scroll, and it will take that as an indication that that person likes that piece of content. So all is not lost. So do not be worried if people are not liking, and don't take that as they don't like my content, because that's not necessarily true. It's the analytics that tell the truth rather than the likes and things like that. Come back to that. There's also reach. So I talked about the accounts reach. So how many accounts or individual people has your post reached? And that will be a certain number, and it will go up and down depending on posts, depending on months, depending on seasons, depending on the algorithm, could be all sorts of things. You've then got impressions. So impressions are the number of times that your post was shown. And generally your impressions will be higher than your reach. And it's kind of a tricky thing for people to understand, because reached people, impressions was shown a number of times, but it may have been shown to that person 2 or 3 times. So that's how that works. So you'll always have reach lower than impressions. So the other thing to be aware of is that people get quite concerned about what we call vanity metrics. And vanity metrics is, I haven't got many followers, nobody's liking my stuff, and they're taking the success of their social media based on those things. But actually the real metric is more about, I'm posting, I'm getting people to visit my profile. So you need to be looking at profile visits, and you'll be able to see, if you start to get more consistent with your posting and the content and things like that, that your profile visits will go up, or they won't. But the next thing to think about is profile visits across to your website. And that's a really cool metric to look at. So you can kind of work backwards and go, okay, I'm increasing my website visits. More people are going to my profile. It must be something to do with my content. So that's a cool thing. So then what you can do is you can go into the Instagram app, and it shows you all the top stories, the top posts, the number of views, the number of plays. It's got all the information in there, and you can go, okay, well, that did really well. That didn't do so well. Why did that do well? Was it a picture of me? Was it a picture? What was in the content that made it do well? But also, what time of day did I post it? So there's quite a lot of stuff. But I think if you kind of set some goals, very, very simple goals. I'm going to post 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. and I'm going to do it for a month and see what happens. Be consistent with that, because if you start changing it around because one post didn't work, you won't really be able to gauge as easily what's working and what's not working. And it probably sounds a bit onerous as I say it to you, but actually it's not. If you just set that goal, do that for a month, go check your analytics. You can check every day if you want to, but if you check at the end of the month, then you can go, okay, cool. That gives you a baseline, and then you can change one thing. You can go, okay, I'm going to add an extra post in and do 4, or I'm
Mm.
going to change a topic, and just change a thing, and it sort of becomes a bit test, learn, adjust. So rather than just being pretty pictures and putting stuff out there, it's, I guess, getting on the trail like a detective and uncovering with your magnifying glass what's kind of working and what isn't, but you've got to set yourself a baseline and be consistent with it.
Mm.
I think that's kind of the
Yeah.
main things really. And it does, I mean, I know it's hard enough for salon owners to even just get content out, let alone actually measure it and get excited about understanding the analytics and things like that. But it's like anything, if you set up a process and a system, make it super simple, and as less work as possible, then, at least you're doing something to understand, um, what's working and what isn't.
Yeah, no,
Um,
for sure. I definitely find like a lot of people, because Instagram can kind of be viewed a couple of different ways. If you're a business, you're kind of thinking, oh, Instagram's just a way for me to just like connect with my clients and just a way for, for them to remember me. But it really is a tool um, to not just connect with your current clients, but yeah, by posting regularly and really kind of looking at the success of what posts do well and what posts don't, you're really able to create a tool that is not only going to bring in new clients and get more people around your salon to start visiting you, but it's also like such a great way to start tracking like
mm,
them going to your website or your online booking site. I know one thing that was a big thing for many years is Instagram would only let you have one link on your profile, and that's why you've got a lot of link in bio apps because there was a lot of times. I mean, Savvy Seller Marketing, Kitomba, we use one as well because there are many things that we're doing, and there are many places that we want our followers to go. But if you've only got one link, that's an issue. For a salon, I would say you've got your online booking site. So if someone's ready to make a booking then and there, you want to get them straight over to the online booking site because you don't want them to go to the website and then try to find the button and maybe they want to make a cup of tea and they leave and they forget to do it. You want them to go straight there, but you also, yeah, if they want to learn more about you or see your team or learn about the descriptions of your services, you also want them to go to your website. Now you're actually allowed to have more than one link, which is
mm,
when I saw it, I was like, oh, thank God, because you
mm,
don't need a link in bio app if you don't want to. You could just have a link to your online booking site, or if you use a software, like we have an integration with Facebook, so like a little book now button comes up,
mm,
Facebook and Instagram,
mm,
and it
mm.
means that when you click book now, it just goes straight there. And then you
Yep,
can leave the link for your website, and all of that can be tracked. Not only that, if you do things like stories, you can add little links
yep,
on the
yep,
story, and in the
yep,
analytics that Kirsten showed, you can
yep,
also track how many people click
yep,
through. So you can go, okay, so there might be a story that, okay, that one was seen by a lot of people, but didn't really get a huge amount of link clicks to my online booking site. Or you might get one then wasn't seen by as many people, but had a lot of interactions, a lot of impressions, and people saw it, they liked it, they engaged with
mm,
it,
mm,
and they
mm,
clicked through. And
mm.
that's like, okay, well, that one's for me, I'd say is better. You didn't
Yep,
see as many people, but you got them
correct.
to do what you
Yeah,
wanted, right?
yes,
And so
yep,
it's just kind of looking at the analytics, and you'll start as you go through it and start looking at all of the what's doing well, what's not. You start realizing what is considered good.
mm,
One that gets a lot of sort of engagement
yep,
if that's if
yes,
they like it, but mainly link clicks. Really, are they
yes,
doing what you want them to?
yes, and that's a
Yeah.
good point because it's about quality, not
Mm,
quantity.
yeah.
And this is where people get a bit hung up on followers. They go, "Oh, I've only got 300 followers and my competitor has got 16,000." But I would
Mm,
be very concerned if a salon, in a local area, had
mm,
16,000 followers unless they had some amazing online shop that does something globally, because
yeah.
they're just, it's about quality followers who you're building a relationship with and are very likely, to walk into your salon from your local area rather than 16,000 from across the country, or somewhere in the world. So I have no research to support this, but I do feel that there could be a slight psychological impact if someone's looking around and going, oh, well, that salon's got 300 followers and this one's got 1,000. They must be better. I don't know if there's any
Mm,
research that supports that, and I'm going to go and find out. But for you, the salon owner, we often people say come to us and they go, okay, our social media is not working. We don't have many followers, but then we go and look at an account that they're aspiring to be like, who's got lots of followers, and you look at them and they're just Bob the bulldozer guy from somewhere else who's just
Yeah,
so someone somewhere has bought their followers, and that's just not going to help you.
yeah,
Social media is about connecting with people, raising awareness for salons in your local area, building relationships with people, and drawing them into your community, into your world online, so that if they are walking up the street or they've made a conscious decision to look for a salon, they will remember you because they will hopefully see you consistently. And if they follow you, better chance that your post will land on their feed. Social media is not necessarily about direct sales or anything like that. But as you say, we can now have more than one link, and you can link people to book now and things like that. But they're not just going to go to your Instagram profile and book. You've got to have caused them to go there and give them a reason
yes,
and compel them to do that. So you can sort of see how it all kind of works together. So again, if you put your book now button there, but you don't do anything to drive people to it, it's
yeah.
not working. What's not working is you're not driving the traffic there. So it's kind of a, one drives the next type of thing. But
Yeah, it's definitely a journey. Yeah.
it is.
Like you brought up the idea of like before, do it for a while and see the results. It's gonna probably, I would expect, the journey would be someone who's not a follower of yours or hasn't been to your salon before. They see a post, they might see another post a couple of days later, about a week later, they might see a few more, they might like one of those. They then start noticing the posts and go, I think these are all from the same person. Or they might, when they look at a post they like, they'll look at the name and go, oh, I recognize that name. And it will slowly over, could be weeks, they could
Mm,
look at the name, they see it again, they then visit your profile, they might follow you. It could take a while to actually get
mm,
the result that you're looking for, which is
mm,
either they follow you or they make a booking or both.
mm. Yeah.
And yeah, it's unfortunately with things like social media, it's not a cut in like we do it now and immediately we've got this. For stories, that is the case. You can go, I've got a couple of cancellations today, so we just fill these spots, 20% off or whatever it is, and you can get immediate
Yeah.
reaction for
Okay.
the customers that follow you. But in terms of generating new customers, which it can do, it does
Mm.
just take a bit of time.
It
Yeah.
does, and it's like building a relationship with a
Yeah.
person. Be it, it takes time. I've said it before. You don't just walk up to someone and ask them to marry you. You need to get to know
Yeah.
them and decide if you like them and date them
Yeah.
for a while. But so it's a little bit the same. But actually, something that talking about that cancellation thing works really well. Stories are really cool. And
Mm,
for salon owners out there who are like, I struggle just to get one post out. Just think about stories as an immediate
mm.
sort of place to start, because you can track all your stories and track the links and things like that. Um, they don't have to be on brand, and they can be fun, and um, they can sort of show the fun side of the business. But whether you're posting or doing stories or a mix of those things, you could encourage people to what is the word? Subscribe to the notification or click the notification so that they get,
Yeah.
particularly for cancellations, you say to your clients, there's like a little bell at the top of the profile, and you can be notified of post stories or whatever. So it will come through to you as soon as something's posted, and you go, right, I'm going to go and I'm informed about that. I'm going to go and book that cancellation. But
Mm.
it's there, obviously, if you're super interested in a topic and you want to be notified about it rather than hoping it will come onto your feed. So, something that you can do is encourage people sometimes in your posts, particularly if you're talking and doing video, say hit the notifications and, get our posts through to you sooner rather than later. So, that's one
Yeah.
good way. I mean, that could be one goal that you set for yourself, is to say, right, this month or the next 3 months, we're going to encourage people to hit notify and just
Yeah.
see what happens. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kirsten. You've shared some really, really great knowledge. I mean, I've learned some things. I always, each month, I mean, because I run the social media at Kitomba, each month I've got this entire report that goes through the different posts we've got, the stories of reels, and sometimes I know when I first kind of started really getting in depth in the social media side of marketing, really kind of knowing the things to look for. I saw that, yeah, that people are looking at the number of followers and the number of reach. For me, like personally, it's link clicks and interactions. Um,
Mm,
are just really great ways to see that, okay, the things I'm posting, people like,
mm,
and I'm getting action from it.
mm,
And I know that if you follow the tips that we've been following for sharing for months and understand how to do it, try it out. If you get confused, we're always here to help as well. So you can
mm.
contact Kirsten. She's also got a wonderful ebook called The Salon Owner's Guide to Instagram Marketing. You can find that. It'll be linked in our bio and it'll be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook as well. And it's a really great tool and just like a bit of a knowledge base full of stuff you might need. So
Mm.
highly recommend you download that. Again, thank you so much, Kirsten, for
Thank
talking
you.
to us today. And yeah, we will see everyone later.